Now that I'm in my 30s, I think I'm entitled to actually create this list, which are 10 things that I wish I knew at 20. The first and probably most important part that I've realized in my 30s now is that there's no script. When I was younger, I thought that there was a script that I had to follow. I needed to get a certain amount of grades, I needed to go to university, I needed to study this, I need to get a certain type of job, I need to listen to my parents, I need to do this by this age. And quite frankly, that's BS. Everyone has their own life path. Everyone is still learning and growing, and to be able to not compare yourself to others is a skill, right? Because it's so easy to relate ourselves and wherever we are in our lives to other people. It's very easy to compare, especially with social media, but there is no script. You don't have to follow the script. You don't have to follow what everyone says you need to do. And the sooner you realize this, the more at peace you're gonna be able to settle within yourself and to live a life that's true to yourself, and the happier you are, and which as a second order effect is going to allow you to be the best version of yourself, to put yourself more authentically out into the world and attract what you actually want in your life. Friends come and go, right? At every stage in your life, if you're continuing to grow, you're gonna outgrow some of your friends, and some of your friends are going to outgrow you. And I think that's totally okay, because we're all at different stages in life, and to think that you're gonna have a friend that's gonna be with you from kindergarten all the way until you're 85 is going to set yourself up for a lot of disappointment. And I wish that, all of you guys out there have friends that you're gonna be friends together for 85 years and you're gonna share a cup of tea when you guys are in your 90s and in your golden age. But I don't think that is going to happen for many of us. And I think even in our own personal experiences and my personal experience, my friends have come and gone. I've had good university friends. We were best friends in university. We were best friends when I was still in the military. But as we grow, as we continue to be and evolve as humans, they slowly fade away. And maybe in some weird, different reality of the world, and it comes all full circles and we come back together as being good friends again in the future, that's great. But I'm not gonna hold my breath. And I realize that, and to set realistic expectations that friends are gonna come and go, and that's totally okay. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone, by Blaise Pascal. And this quote really hits home. There are so many different times in my life where I overthink, I'm overanalyzing, I'm trying to figure out all the different angles to some problem or some dilemma in my life, when at the end of the day, just being able to sit still, to ruminate, to be at peace with whatever decision that you've made is going to be so much more beneficial than trying to overanalyze and stress out about it. And it's going to have carry-on effects where you realize that there's so many decisions and so many different alternate realities and possibilities of all our decisions that it is impossible to actually control. And we set expectations of how we're gonna live our lives, where we're gonna live, who we're gonna be with, the type of profession that we have. We set so many expectations because we have so many desires, or even Buddha said, desire is suffering, where the more things we want, the more expectations we have, our inability to actually sit still and just to be at peace with the here and the now is going to really hurt us. There are so many parts of our life where we fail to realize that if we can just sit still and be okay with the outcome, with the decisions that we make, that we will be well on our way to having some inner peace in our lives. Get your finances in order. I get it. When I was younger, in my 20s, I was like, oh, let me live in the moment. Let me spend my money because YOLO, right? I only have one life. But as I gotten older, I realized that I have a lot longer of a life than I thought I had in my 20s. It's this idea where when you're young, you just live in the moment. You're only thinking about today and tomorrow and maybe the next week, what you're gonna have for dinner, right? Whether it's pasta or dumplings. But when you get a little bit older, you realize like, hey, I'm gonna probably live into my 70s and 80s and possibly even 90s if we keep our health together and intact. And I need to prepare for the future me, right? The future Warren, the 80-year-old version of myself. Not because my parents or my peers or other people that are telling me to do this and to save money and to invest money, but because I want to look out for myself, the future me. So start looking into personal finance books, read more about building wealth and all that good stuff, because it's gonna help you a lot tremendously if you start now in your 20s. Purpose is personal. I know there's a lot of people saying out there that you need to live like this purpose-driven life and you need to go out and save the world, you need to be a doctor, you need to do so many things. But at the end of the day, what you decide is your meaning or your purpose in life is exactly that. And it's gonna be different for everybody. And it took me a long time to realize that, because I thought in my head I needed to do something grand, I need to do something big. But there's a lot of moments in our everyday life where we can make a big difference, right? We can make a difference, whether it be something very small or it's just giving someone a reason to smile. That is purpose in and within itself. Purpose is personal, and whether that is doing something simple and just living a normal everyday life, or it's doing something like going out and saving the world, as long as it feels right to yourself and it's aligned with your own core values and your belief system, then I think there's no one in the world that can say otherwise. Make yourself happy first. You know, it's like when you're on an airplane and they're going over the safety instructions and they tell you to make sure to put on the mask for yourself before you try and save the person next to you, before you put the mask on the other person. Before I try to make other people happy, like my parents or my teachers, is that I need to make myself happy. And it takes courage to do so. And I'm not saying it's easy, because to go against what other people are expecting of you at such a young age takes an incredible amount of courage. And I realize that and I empathize. Making yourself happy is going to set yourself up for the success that is right for you, because your own personal definition of success is just that. It's so personal. Health is wealth. And now that I'm in my 30s, you know, there's my knees and my back are starting to hurt a little bit more. When I'm waking up, my body doesn't recover as fast as it did when I was in my 20s. And it's a long-term investment, and the future you is gonna help. And a lot of these things that I've realized is that you have a long life to live, right? You're only in your 20s, and there's another 30, 40, 50 years ahead of you, and you need to use this body, this machine, right, for a long time. And you need to keep it well-oiled, well-maintained, and that means eating right, that means sleeping, getting your 8 hours of sleep, that means drinking a lot of water, and to establish these habits, right, while at a young age, because there's a lot to it and it takes time to learn it, but the benefits are immense. And also at the same time, it is better for you because you're gonna be living longer, you're gonna live healthily, and you're gonna be able to do so much. Deal with your childhood traumas. We all come with emotional baggage from when we were a child, from the way that our parents raised us, to their expectations of us, to how we viewed our relationship with them. And there's a lot to unpack there, and it's going to seep into a lot of different facets in your life if you let it get carried away. Doing some soul searching, having difficult conversations with your parents, having conversations with your siblings, and going to therapy and taking care of your mind and maintaining your mental health is going to do wonders in your life, whether in your intimate relationships or with your parents, healing those relationships, and also with other people. Go exploring the world, going traveling, saying yes to more things, right? Because there's so much out there. There's so much culture. There's so many people to meet. There's so many stories to hear. And these experiences make life just interesting, right? If all you do is go to work, go to school, and go back home, and that's all you did, you're not going to have the more enriching parts of life. You're not going to make those interesting connections with your fellow human beings. There's so many things to see. The world is so huge, and I think realizing that after traveling to over 30 plus countries now, I realize that I'm such a small part in the world, right? It gives you some perspective. Not only that I'm so fortunate to be born in the US and to have so many things and to be able to go about the world in a certain way, but it gives you more gratitude for life itself, and you're just happy and excited to be here. So definitely I would say one of the biggest things for me was to explore the world and to really make it yours. The final message that I would give you, and the most important, is it gets better. I know in your 20s, it can seem like it's all turmoil, it's all doom and gloom, and you're trying to figure yourself out, and you're trying to learn how to drive, and you're trying to learn how to talk to the opposite sex, and you're trying to figure out where you're gonna live, what you're gonna do, what your career is gonna be, all these big, seemingly big parts of life, right? And there's so many expectations. Your parents are telling you what to do. Your friends are saying you should do this, and you see your friends doing that, and social media, and there's influencers and all these people just pulling your attention this way and that way, and no, it gets so overwhelming. But at the end of the day, you are going to get smarter, stronger, faster, more adaptable as you get older. And that is a fact. You are going to get better at life. You're going to get better at adulting. Like and subscribe for more.